in. Hope you're having a fabulous week here. We are plugging through and we got some great topics for you tonight on the Aries Rose Show. So come on in, get your popcorn, get your tea, get comfortable. We are going to get into some things. Welcome to Aries Rose TV. And if you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose. And on this channel, we talk about streaming shows, movies, TV shows, world news, local news, celebrity news, pop culture, politics, basically anything I find interesting. I come on and discuss with my Aries crew. We have a great show lined up for you tonight. So we're going to get into some things here, but before we do that, we have a few quick announcements here. If you're on Instagram, follow us at Aries Rose TV and we'll follow you back. Let us know you're from YouTube when you follow us over there. It's another way to connect with the channel. We post movie reviews, movie previews, celebrity news, pop culture news. So make sure you connect with us if you're on Instagram at Aries Rose TV. It's another way where you can get your pop culture world news. If you are a subscriber, you can chat with me on the YouTube communities tab. So they've changed it up a little bit, and now subscribers can post items on there so we can have discussions. If you have trends, topics you want me to be aware of, things you'd like me to talk about on the show, questions, you can post that on the communities tab. I use it pretty regularly, so go check it out. Start a conversation with me over there, leave a question. I definitely will follow up with you. So let's connect over in that communities tab here. And if you have a service or a product that you'd like to advertise on the page, I will leave my business email in the description box. You can reach out to me. We can discuss collaborating, see if it's a good fit. And let's get into the topics that we have lined up for the show tonight. So, unfortunately, for an American Idol music supervisor, there was recently a double murder, and there has been an arrest in that. So, we got to talk about that. Nicki Minaj and SZA are beefing. So, they've been exchanging words over social media. So, we got to get a little bit more info on what's going on between those two. Diddy is in therapy for DV. And also in there for rug use. So we got to talk about what's going on with Diddy. Looks like he might be trying to get some redemption here as he's awaiting for sentencing in the federal trial that just completed here. And James DeBarge, who is a part of the famous DeBarge family, is talking about his relationship with Janet Jackson back when they were married in the 80s. So they have a very interesting backstory and situation between those two. So we got to get into what was going on there. But first, let's get into the American Idol supervisor who unfortunately recently lost their life. And as you come in, let me know if you're a part of the Aries crew by leaving hashtag Aries crew in the comments, or let me know if you're a first time watcher. Leave hashtag first time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for stopping by, spending part of your day here. And when you do subscribe to the channel, let us know in the comments. I want to personally welcome you to the Aries crew and give you a shout out for joining. And let's get into what happened recently here. So this is reporting from TMZ, and this is American Idol music supervisor murdered in double homicide. Police find murdered couple in LA home. And here we go. Robin Kay, an award-winning music supervisor on American Idol, was found deceased inside her Los Angeles home, and TMZ has learned she and her husband Thomas DeLuca were victims of a gruesome double murder. Our enforcement sources tell us the bodies of the couple were discovered Monday inside their home in Encino after Los Angeles Police Department officers showed up for a welfare check. We're told cops saw blood at the front entrance and then smashed a window to gain entry to the home, where they found Robin and Thomas suffering from possible pow wounds. They were both declared deceased at the scene. Our sources say the incident is being investigated as a double homicide. It's interesting. Cops were previously called to the home Thursday. An unidentified suspect was seen trying to gain entry and may have been armed with a firearm. Neighbors say someone spotted a person hopping a fence and called police. Officers responded but found no signs of forced entry and searched the property before leaving. It's unclear if this incident is related to the homicides. During a welfare check Monday, cops told neighbors family members had not heard from the couple in 4 days. It's unclear who called for the welfare check. Robin worked as the music supervisor on Idol for at least 15 seasons, according to her IMDb page, and she won multiple Guild of Music Supervisors awards for her work on the show. She also served as music supervisor on Lip Sync Battle and a bunch of other shows. The home Robin and Thomas lived in has some celeb history. We did some digging and found out it was previously owned by late rapper Juice WRLD. We reached out to American Idol so far and no word back. Very sad to hear that. It doesn't appear that a motive has been given so far, but very unfortunate that these two lost their lives here. And there has been an update because it looks like there was an arrest made. And I don't even know if American Idol is still on. It's been a while since I've even heard that show name, so I don't know if it's still actively going on right now, if this person was on there as a music supervisor previously, but we'll get into this update here. And then we have a quick little comment here I want to read out. We got Colt, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate you subscribing. Welcome to the Aries crew. And let's get into this update here. This is reporting from TMZ. Cops have made an arrest in a double homicide that saw American Idol music supervisor Robin Kay and her husband Pow Pow to death inside their Los Angeles home. TMZ has confirmed. Law enforcement tells us 22-year-old Raymond Budarian was arrested, and Los Angeles Police Department detectives believe he has no relationship to Robin and her husband, and were told this was an isolated incident. TMZ broke the story. Robin was identified as one of the victims in a double murder inside a home in Encino. The other victim was her husband, Thomas DeLuca. Robin and Thomas were found dead Monday when cops conducted a welfare check and found blood outside the home. Officers smashed a window to gain entry to the home and found Robin and Thomas in separate rooms, deceased from pow pow wounds to the head. Cops were previously called to the home Thursday after an unidentified suspect was seen trying to gain entry. The caller said the suspect may have been armed with a firearm. Neighbors say someone spotted a person hopping a fence and called police. Officers responded but found no signs of forced entry and searched the exterior property before leaving. A helicopter circled overhead but could not find the suspect. Now, cops allege Budarian was burglarizing the house Thursday when Robin and Thomas came home, and he allegedly pow-powed and took their lives during a confrontation. We're told cops were reviewing surveillance footage, and it reportedly shows the suspect entering the home Thursday afternoon about 30 minutes before Robin and Thomas showed up. Cops say Budarian is an Encino resident, and he found a way inside the home through an unlocked door. Robin and her husband were 70 years old. May they rest in peace. My heart goes out to them and their family. Anybody who cared for those two, their absence will be impacting. Definitely a tough time to be dealing with anyone's passing, let alone two of them. And under these circumstances, sounds really awful. And we'll keep you posted on here as any more information becomes available as far as a motive or any other information or updates comes on the case. You can get those here at Aries Rose TV. But let me know your thoughts on it in the comments here. And let's get into what's going on with Nicki Minaj and SZA. They're exchanging some words here over social media, and this is reporting from TMZ. Nicki Minaj, SZA sings like a dead effing dog, but Solana doesn't back down. Nicki Minaj was conducting her daily Rock Nation roast, and somehow SZA got looped up in the social media posts. And SOS, a new beef has been born. SZA rattled off her first post of the day on X Tuesday, posting, quote, Mercury retrograde, don't take the bait, LOL, silly goose, end quote, which Nicki interpreted as a direct shot at her amid her blasting Rock Nation CEO Desiree Perez. The thing is, SZA is in a completely different time zone, currently on her joint GNX tour with Kendrick Lamar, and just finished her show at Paris La Défense Arena shortly before midnight European time. Nicki didn't wait for any clarity or a green light. She took off on SZA in a similar fashion she recently did against Jay-Z, lampooning SZA's singing skills, comparing them to everything from a dead dog to a victim wailing over a bee sting. And unfazed SZA clapped back at Nicki and the Barbs, explaining she had just gotten off stage and was unloading some thoughts that had nothing to do with anything Nicki had fuming, let alone in America. SZA's manager, Terrence Punch Henderson, had also posted about Black Barbies earlier, which had nada to do with Nicki. It's the name of his Full Room of Mirrors groupmate, Lyric Michelle's new song. Nicki hasn't reacted to SZA's explanation. If it's not justice for Desiree's daughter, Damori Hadley, she don't give a beep. So looks like these two may have something going on. Looks like it's maybe more from Nicki's side than SZA's side, because it doesn't appear that she was attempting to have a beef or say anything negative about Nicki here. But looks like that has escalated a little bit here. So we'll keep you posted on what may be happening next with these two here. Hopefully it does not go beyond social media posts and it stays above board here. It doesn't get too personal on each other. And we got to talk about, I want to throw in one more story here with Jay-Z. Since we're talking about Rock Nation here, I'm going to slide in one more, and this is from Gossip.com. Jay-Z alleges decades-long harassment by man claiming to be his son. Says judge should silence the fabricated allegations. The man has once again denied that he is the father of a man who has claimed to be his son for at least a decade, and he's asking a judge to intervene. Jay-Z has once again denied claims that he fathered his son in the 1990s, and he's now asking a judge to intervene and stop the decades-long harassment he's been forced to endure. U.S. Weekly reports that the accuser, Ramir Satterthwaite, has filed another lawsuit claiming that Jay-Z had a relationship with his mother over 3 decades ago, and that resulted in his birth. Though his mother has died since he levied the accusations, he claims that his godmother, who acts as his caregiver, has faced, quote, unrelenting efforts by Jay-Z and his enablers to suppress the truth and silence those who dared to speak it, end quote. The truth, he alleges, is that he is Carter's biological son. Jay-Z, however, has had enough. U.S. Weekly reports that last week he asked a judge to help him finally put the decades-long harassment to rest and allow him to move on. Quote, the fabricated allegations and claims have been addressed and rejected in multiple other courts, and Satterthwaite's continued harassment of Jay-Z and disregard of those orders has already resulted in a contempt order, says Jay's response in the lawsuit. Satterthwaite has also made serious claims about Hove's alleged refusal to take a DNA test and his exploitation of, quote, legal systems in multiple jurisdictions to suppress Ramir's paternity claim and prevent legal accountability, end quote. He also alleges that his car was shot at least 6 times in what he believes was an effort to silence him. Though he was once seeking child support from the Empire State of Mind rapper, he now says he's only demanding damages for years of suffering he's endured. Jay-Z's legal team is asking the judge for more time to formally respond to the most recent lawsuit, as the rapper says he was unaware of it until earlier this month. His lawyer argued that Jay-Z will be irreparably prejudiced without additional time to evaluate and prepare his response to the complaint, end quote. Satterthwaite, who is now 31, filed his own complaint without the help of a lawyer and asked the judge to also consider the emotional, psychological distress, anxiety, public embarrassment, and stress-induced health and mental health complications he's endured. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Do you believe that Jay-Z is dodging taking a paternity test? Do you believe that this person is Jay-Z's son? I've seen a picture of him. There's a resemblance. I don't know whether or not Jay-Z had a relationship with his mom or if he is truly Jay-Z's son. If he is not, I'm not sure why Jay-Z won't just take a paternity test to go ahead and put that to rest. Other than I've heard some commentary on it that if he takes that DNA test for this particular person, that other people will come out of the woodworks and it could just be something that you end up having to constantly go in because somebody's going to claim that they're your child and do you want to open up that door? But if this person's been doing this for a decade now at this point and they have not changed their story, they have not relented, if the last piece is just to take a paternity test, maybe that's what's needed just to go ahead and let this go to rest so you can make the point that I'm not your father here, but we'll definitely keep an eye out on this particular one because this isn't the first time I've heard about this person and it may not be going away, I guess, unless the judge intervenes here and says legally he has to. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments here. Let's keep that conversation going. Think it's been definitely an interesting year for Jay-Z and Beyonce. Normally they like to be really low key, and between the Tony Busby lawsuit stuff going on with Diddy, all these different things has been keeping them out there in the news, but probably not with stuff they generally want to be associated with. So I'm sure they'll be ready for all this stuff to go away and then go back to living their personal quiet lives like they were doing before. And now we got to get into this James DeBarge speaking on his relationship with Janet Jackson. So James DeBarge is a part of the group DeBarge. That was a family. They were pretty big in the late 70s, 80s, and they were on Motown. And one of their biggest songs was Rhythm of the Night. And then they had I Like It, which is one of my favorite songs of theirs. And they have a lot of other songs as well. They didn't get a chance to reach the highest peak that they could have been because the family was plagued with troubles. They had drug use, which caused family members not to be as consistent, prepared, as focused on their careers as they could have been. In the time that they got into it, it was just I guess what celebrities do, and it even still happens to this day, but it unfortunately really plagued that family in a negative way, and they've struggled with it. Lots of family members have had issues with drug use, and it's affected their lives. And they had a couple family members who've passed away as well. I know their mom recently passed away. Their father passed away. I don't think their father was an active person in their life, but their father passed away and their mom passed away recently. And they had an older brother who passed away as well. And then I was hearing that the youngest brother, Chico DeBarge, had recently been arrested for drug use as well. So definitely a very sad story, and James DeBarge struggled with it as well. And in the 80s, when the DeBarges were a big group, so was Janet Jackson along with her brothers. And Janet Jackson was up and coming in her career at that time. She was just going into adulthood in her late teens stage, and they met, they hit it off, and they ended up getting married pretty quietly. And according to James, Janet's strict father, Joe Jackson, was not into it. And I don't think it had anything to do with him necessarily as a person, but he probably knew the kind of stuff that the family was into and was like, I don't want that for my daughter. And so, and he was on rugs, and Janet Jackson's never struck me as a person who's into that or would want to be around that. So I am sure that had an effect on their relationship as well. And so they ended up getting a annulment because it just wasn't right for him. I don't think it was right for her. And let's get into this. This is from the Jasmine brand. It says Janet Jackson's ex-husband James DeBarge says they were right lovers, wrong time, plus blames career and family pressures for split and teases truth behind baby rumors. And this is from their reporting here they have listed on Facebook here. This is from the Jasmine brand. It says James DeBarge is opening up about his whirlwind romance and brief marriage to pop icon Janet Jackson. In a recent interview, the singer reflected on their 1984 union and 1985 divorce, revealing that he first connected with Janet through his brother Bobby DeBarge, who was dating her sister LaToya at the time. James said the two were introduced over the phone when he was around 13 or 14 and Janet was just 11 or 12. They developed a close bond while Janet was starring on Good Times, though they didn't meet in person until about 5 years later. According to James, they fell in love quickly and eloped soon after, snuck off to Grand Rapids, and got married, he said. When when asked what led to their split, James explained, quote, "Put it like this, it was the right lovers, wrong time," end quote, he added. Quote, "I was young, she was young, she'd been on the road, me being on the road, we didn't have enough time to be together to work things out," end quote. James said the substance abuse was just developing and hadn't become an issue at the time. He also pointed to outside interference mentoring, mentioning that Janet's father, Joe Jackson, disapproved of the relationship and claimed the company she was with created tension between the couple. In her 2022 documentary titled Janet Jackson, the singer discussed her early marriage to James, calling it a mistake rooted in her desire for independence. Quote, "I wanted to be able to stand on my own," end quote, she said. Jen also firmly denied the secret baby rumors, saying, quote, "I could never keep a child away from James. How could I keep a child from their father? I would never do that," end quote. James also addressed the long-standing rumors, secret child rumors. While he didn't confirm or deny the speculation, he hinted, quote, "to be disclosed later," end quote, noting that he wants to avoid conversation amid the release of his upcoming movie and documentary. So let me know your thoughts on that. What do you think about James DeBarge speaking out at this time about his relationship with Janet Jackson? Kind of alluding to the potential that there was a secret love child, not necessarily confirming or denying, but leaving that carrot dangling out there probably to get interest in watching the movie. That's going to be about his life, but I know Janet is another super private person that really doesn't like her stuff out there, and you really don't ever hear her talking about past relationships or current relationships for that matter. So I hope he does still continue to respect her privacy, because Janet, never really comes out and says negative stuff on him or talks about him. But what do you think about that relationship? Did you even know that Janet was married to James DeBarge at all? Let's keep that conversation going in the comments. And let's get to talking about Diddy here. So he is now doing some therapy while he is behind bars, trying to make the most of the time there while he's awaiting sentencing. Some say might be for, trying to get some public redemption here. So let's get into that and let's see what's going on. This reporting from TMZ. Diddy is already attempting to rehabilitate himself. He's enrolling in self-improvement programs while in federal lockup to address his drug use and violence against women. Sources close to the situation tell TMZ Diddy is in the STOP program, a course that feds offer inmates focused on preventing sexual assault, domestic and dating violence. We're also told he's undergoing therapy and is in the Dr. Henry K. Wexler drug abuse program. Our sources say Diddy's using the programs to work hard on bettering himself, and one source called it his path toward redemption. Of course, cynics might say there's a different motivation. Diddy's federal trial featured lots of testimony about domestic abuse against Cassie and Jane, as well as his rampant use of drugs like it's not uncommon for convicted individuals to enter various programs to show the judge they're serious about rehabilitation ahead of sentencing. And as we reported, Diddy's sentencing will go down on October 3rd. We're told he actually started the drug treatment before his arrest last year, and he's continued while behind bars. Diddy dealt federal prosecutors a major loss when he was found not guilty on racketeering and ex-trafficking charges. The jury nailed him on two lesser charges for prostitution. Prosecutors have recommended a 4-year sentence, but it will be up to Judge Arun Subramanian. let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that Diddy is really trying to get help and turn his life around, or is he just doing this for optics so that the judge may be more lenient when the sentencing comes up on October 3rd? I truly hope he's going in for the betterment of himself. The trial definitely brought out a lot of the dark side about Diddy and a lot of things I'm sure he wished would have stayed in the bedroom. So sadly, the public, whether you go to a rehabilitation program or not, cannot unsee or unhear the things that were talked about or that CNN video. It's going to be out there. People are going to feel the way they're going to feel about Diddy. I think regardless of what he does, you're going to ride with him and maybe you forgive, let the other stuff go, or you're going to hold that against him and not be happy about it. I feel like he's just become polarizing. It's kind of one way or the other. There's not really a gray area when it comes to him, but it's definitely a lesson for people in the industry or people in the industry that are engaging in that. Times have changed, and even if it seems like a person is with it and telling you that they actively want to be a part of these types of situations that he had going on with Cassie and Jane Doe, that may not always be the case. Consent is definitely one of those gray areas that came up in this case about how do you know if it's actual consent or forced consent because out of fear. Lots of nuances that took place here that also may have played a role in how the jury responded when it came to the other charges as well, because it didn't come off clearly that somebody was maybe saying no or trying to actively not participate in these things that these folks were testifying they did not want to do. But I don't know if Diddy can really rehab his reputation or not. So it will be interesting to see once he's sentenced and on kind of all that stuff and the dust settles, how he may be received and what other opportunities or what it may be like for him once this case blows over. But I know he's still got other pending cases, so he's not necessarily out of the water yet. This is just one down and several more to go. Let's keep the conversation going on that. And we'll, of course, be tracking what's going on with Diddy and his sentencing as well here on Aries Rose TV. And if you've been on the live this long, thank you so much. Go ahead and join the Aries crew. We'd love to have you here. All you got to do is hit that subscription button and hit that notification bell so you can find out every time we go live, post videos, post on the community page, and all of that good stuff. Follow us on Instagram, Aries Rose TV. Let us know you are from YouTube and we will follow you back. I will have a GoFundMe link pinned here in the description box here. We are trying to put together a memorial for the father of my children who passed away in June. Anything left over from that will also go towards the care of our children and expenses towards his passing. Any donation that you can provide is greatly appreciated, even if it's just sharing the GoFundMe link out. That is appreciated as well. Thank you for taking the time to look that over. You can also see the GoFundMe on the Communities tab. And if you have a business or a service that you'd like to advertise on the channel and you want to collaborate, I will have my business email in the description box as well. Check that out and reach out. And we'll see if it's a good fit. Thank you so much for watching the Aries Rose Show. We will be back on live tomorrow night as well. So have your notifications on so you don't miss out on getting pop culture with Aries energy on every review. Thank you so much for watching. Share this live out with family and friends. It helps the channel to grow and it's greatly appreciated. Look forward to seeing you later. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time of day it may be, and we'll see you later.